Okay, if you're thinking about getting a lob haircut, there are some mistakes that happen all the time. And so today, I'm gonna walk you through how I actually approach a lob haircut to avoid those mistakes. So don't worry, if you're a stylist, that's awesome. I love having stylists on the channel. But at the same time, if you've never touched a head of hair and you're not a stylist, maybe you have no desire to be, no sweat. I'm gonna make this real simple so that you can understand, so you can better effectively communicate with your stylist. So again, you avoid those mistakes. And as normal, I have you out on a little adventure today. Today we are right here. And this is gonna be a little bit different because I'm gonna be going back and forth between showing you some incredible views and being in the salon working on a client so you can see the more technical aspect of exactly how I approach this. So with that said, let's jump into some tips. Well, that view, did you finish it? Did you finish the sentence? Like if you've watched me for any amount of time, you know what I just said. That view doesn't suck. Anyway, the first big mistake that I see is not understanding how to create the correct length. If you're unaware, this video is number 2 in a 3-part series. So in this series, in the first video, we went over the mistakes. I went over the 5 most common mistakes that I see and why I think that they're mistakes and why they're important to steer away from. And then in this video, we're gonna walk through how to avoid those mistakes. And in the next video, I'm actually gonna show you some styling tips, some little tricks and secrets that are gonna help you really, really hone in the styling on your lob. So with that, the first video, I talked about the length and why the length is so important and how if you leave it too long, it can actually start breaking on the shoulders, start flipping out, and take away the overall illusion of the bob shape. But there are also other major factors that go into play when I'm thinking about what the appropriate length for each individual client is. So we'll head to the salon and I'll show you exactly how I determine the appropriate length depending on each client's needs and a bunch of other things. So let's go check that out. First thing we want to talk about is the length. Okay, this is what we talked about in the last video, and the length is very important because the length is going to determine if we can keep that overall lob look. Of course, like I said, if we bring that length too long and it starts to break on the traps or the shoulders here, it's going to start to flip out, and that could potentially cause it to not have such of that lob shape that you want. We're in a situation where Diana actually styles her hair wavy more than straight. So we can leave that length a little bit longer and the wave is going to hide anything that flips out. It's gonna work and function a little bit better. So if you are in a situation where you tend to dry your hair curly or wavy more often, you can afford to leave it a little bit longer. The other thing that we wanna pay attention to is, again, following that jawline or that face structure. We wanna make sure that we don't end up with a line that is too square to the floor because, again, that can make it look like the eye is drawing down or bringing that eye down. If we follow the jaw structure, right, and the cheek structure, it's going to be a lot more of a flattering overall look, and it's gonna swing a lot nicer. The easy way I go about this is I first look at the neckline and see how long or how low is the neckline, and then I use that to determine how high I can cut the length and how much space I have to get that off of the shoulder. If I'm in a situation like this where we actually have a higher neckline, I know that I can actually leave that a little bit longer if I need to, and still I can get that to stay off of the shoulders down here, even though it's a little bit lower than the neckline. Then I determine, okay, well, if this is where I need to leave that length, where am I going to create this length in the front? Well, again, we're gonna follow the face structure, which means that if I bring that length to here and I'm keeping it off the shoulders, it means that that front length is gonna land somewhere around here. And that is gonna give me a solid lob shape with, at the same time, getting it off the shoulder so it doesn't flip out too soon and leaving it long enough that I'm not having to shave anything in the neckline. Are you kidding me? Can we just say this together? That view does not suck. That's ridiculous. Honestly, in the multiple, I can't even tell you how many hikes I've done around the gorge in Oregon, around Mount Hood, around Mount St. Helens. This is probably one of the most beautiful views I have ever seen. and I get to share it with you guys. How awesome is that? Wow. Okay, anyway, so I don't even want to like block the view from you, but so the second biggest mistake that I see when it comes to lobs is overlayering. Bobs and lobs can have a tendency to get kind of triangular. So what will happen is people want to take that bulk out through layering, and then in the process of doing that, they overlayer the sides too much, especially right around here, and they end up with this kind of thin area right over the ears. So let me take you back to the salon and I'll explain and show you how I avoid that so that you end up with a nice strong line in the bob and still take out the bulk so you don't get too much of that triangular shape. But for a second, I'm gonna sit right here and I'm going to enjoy that. Oh my gosh. So basically what happens is people will pick the hair up and layer it, which is great. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you go through here and you pull this out, if you look here, there's very few follicles right here above the ear. There's a lot more back here in the back of the head. But if right here you pull this out and you layer it, it's going to look very thin and you're gonna get this hiccup in the line, this little bald spot right here. So your line is gonna go straight and there's gonna be this little cutout that looks super thin. So you wanna basically use this as your overall base. This basically creates that bob line. All of this hair, I lift it straight up and I layer it like this so that when this falls down, this is already strong, but this allows me to have some layers and some movement through there so it doesn't look too full and get that triangular shape that we talk about with longer hair or bobs or even shorter bobs, lobs, or even shorter bobs. Mountain, valley, and river. For the win? Can we be for the win? This place is ridiculous. Oh my gosh. On to my next tip. Another major thing I see is overlayering the nape, okay? People want to bevel the back of that bob, and that's something that in a shorter bob we do all the time, and it really makes it lay nicely. It looks good, but you want to be careful about the way that's layered when you're talking about a lob. And that's because lobs are typically longer, and so therefore they're farther away from the neckline. Here's the thing, the closer you get to the neckline, the more it supports those kinds of layers. The farther you get from the neckline, the less it supports it. So let's head back to the salon and I'll show you exactly how I avoid that. I typically like to actually do this part of the haircut dry because many times when your hair is wet, it doesn't really show the bulk or the heaviness quite as dramatically as when it's dry, so it's easier to see things and see how much I can get away with when the hair is dry. The next biggest concern or mistake that I see is overlayering or over beveling this bottom part right in the nape right here. And the concern with that is, again, the farther your hair gets from the hairline, the farther it grows from the hairline, the less it can support layers down here in this nape. And so what you'll end up with is if you layer that too much or try to bevel that too much, it'll end up maybe looking okay if you're close to the hairline right now, but as it grows, it could potentially end up looking kind of thin and shattered and not really having an overall good shape. So the way I control that is instead of going down here below the occipital bone, so this bone in the back of the head right here, instead of taking that out and layering that, I layer the stuff again above it just to kind of break up some of that bulk and give it a little bit of beveling, but at the same time leaving that underneath one length basically, or close to one length, so that it still retains a strong line for the support of the layers up here. So I'll go through and pull this out, right? I pull it out like this because once I do that, see how that automatically drops out? So this stuff will automatically fall out and it keeps me from layering that. So I'll pull this out like this, I'll go through and I'll texturize just at the very ends a little bit just to help give that a little bit of bevel, a little bit of shape, but not overlayer the bottom. So it leaves us with a shape where we have a nice bevel to it, but at the same time, it's not gonna be overlayered down here and end up potentially looking thin or fine. So now what I need to do is go watch one of these two videos right there, basically because you're gonna learn some cool stuff. And otherwise, I will see you in the next video where we talk about how to styling techniques, little tips, tricks, secrets that you're gonna wanna know if you're gonna get a lob. So I'll catch you in the next video.